I'm super excited about today's guest. Doug Cartwright he's amazing. I had the pleasure of meeting Doug a couple months back through a mutual friend, and he really did, just his presence alone is something you can feel, and you can tell he's in this world to do great things. He's on a mission to do great things. He's a spiritual teacher and an entrepreneur who has come out with some really incredible tools that I know are going to change the game for a lot of people, especially now. And you look at the timing of it. It's like when he came out with these things, he had no idea that this time would happen, but it's like what he has, the tangible things that he has can actually help you guys. And what I also love about Doug's story is an incredible story that includes a 100-pound weight loss. I'm going to let him talk to you about that, but just his quest of finding inner peace is really amazing. And this thing he has called the soul checklist, I love it. I want to bring Doug on right now. And then, yeah, you guys, if you have any questions for Doug while he's getting on screen, I just want to let you know you can ask questions. I can see the questions. You all can vote on the questions, and I can go ahead. I want this to be very informal, so you guys feel like, and you know that you can participate. So if you hear something you love that Doug is saying, please chime in. Let us know if you want to hear more. Am I pulling him on, or is he coming on? Oh, there he is. Hold on.
What's up?
Oh, just like that.
Here I am.
Just like that. You are here, like magic. Yeah. Hi, Doug.
Just like that. Here we are.
How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm in Austin, Texas, and it's the perfect day.
Oh, you know what? I love that you said it's the perfect day. Sorry, my computer just died. Not the one that I'm on, but the other one. I love that you said it's the perfect day. And in fact, I love when I talked to you yesterday. I was like, hey, so how's quarantine life? And you're like, it's better than ever. Like, life is better than ever. And so I think
I'm truly living better in quarantine than normal life, I feel like.
Tell me, why do you think that is? Give us the secret.
The secret is, I think, kind of my whole message of the daily shifts, and everything is just embracing the current circumstance.
Yeah.
Embracing quarantine. And it's like, yeah, of course I would rather be out with my friends and hanging out and going to dinner and getting together. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
But I've fully embraced, like, oh, this is actually a really unique opportunity, not just for me, but for everyone. And it's like, what can I do with this time? And I'm also at the same time not putting so much pressure on myself to like write the next best novel or like create this incredible online course. But just kind of like just being with what is and just accepting for what it is.
I love that. And I couldn't agree with you more. It's something like, it's such a scary time. I think it's easy for people to hear, just embrace it for what it is. But like, some people are like, yeah, that's easier said than done. How do I actually embrace it when I feel like I'm not making money? I'm out of a job. How am I going to pay my bills? What do you have to say to people like that?
Hey, I'm in the same boat. So what happened? Like, hey, I might be filing bankruptcy here soon. Who knows? We don't know. I have no idea. You have no idea what's going to happen. So, but it's interesting is what I did. It was like, so I feel like it was like, there was like that Wednesday 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When everything went like crazy fast. It was like when the NBA shut down and then the numbers went crazy and everything was getting really, really wild. And that really shook me. And it was probably 2 days later.
The earthquake happened in Utah.
Yeah. I was in Utah when that happened.
Yeah.
And so there's like earthquakes and like I've never been a part of an earthquake, by the way. And that was scary.
I bet.
My whole house was like shaking like crazy. Like it was like 7 a.m. and I'm like, what is going? I didn't realize it was an earthquake until it was over.
That's like end of the. I would have been like, "Is this like the end of the world? Are we all gonna die and like fall into a crevice in the earth?"
It felt like under the end of the world to me for a moment. So I was like, "What is going on?" So what I did is I went and did, and this is actually I suggest everyone to do this exercise because it really, really helped me. And what I did is I put my phone on airplane mode, and I went to the park and I walked by myself. I did a walking meditation for probably 3 hours. And I played out the worst case scenario.
Okay.
So, okay, let's play devil's advocate. What happens if I lose my job and I lose my source of income? Then what would happen? And then I play that scenario out. And then what would happen if someone I know gets coronavirus and dies? Like,
Okay.
even like the gnarliest stuff, like what happens if my mom gets sick and dies and my family dies from coronavirus? Like,
Yeah.
what happens?
Yeah.
And so I play out all of these scenarios, and you take away my things, you take away my apartment, you take away my business, you take away some family members and friends, like, and then I sat in that feeling.
Yeah.
I sat in that scary feeling and just kind of embraced it. And it was gross. It was like, oh, like this is like terrible and heavy. And I played out and meditated on what that would be like. And I believe as human beings, we are very, very resourceful. And I know that even if that was the deepest, darkest hell, that I would prevail. Like, I would make the best of the situation. I would figure it out. And once I did that and like felt the worst thing that could possibly happen and I let it move through me, it almost freed me. Because what I think what's happening right now is there's this big scary thing, and then there's us as humans, and we're resisting. It's like, I don't want to feel that, I don't want to feel that, I don't want to feel that, right?
Yeah.
And so we stay in like anxiety and anxious and depression. But if you can just embrace it, it moves through you, and then you can come from a place of calm and centered.
I love that you say that. Just because I've always been like people, I think for the most part, I've always been a very happy person, like a very optimistic person, but also realistic. And people are like, what's your secret? And I'm like, I don't know. Cause I'm very much like a expect the worst, hope for the best kind of a person.
Yep.
And not to say that I've always set the bar super low. That's not the case, but I do in any situation, I'll be like, okay, here are the possibilities in this. And I have, without really noticing it, I do say, okay, well, what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst case? And I have heard, I since did a life self-improvement seminar that actually had us sitting in the place of worst case scenario and sitting in the place of our stories, our negative stories around the situation. And is there a weird echo? Is it me? Is there a weird echo on your end, Doug, or can you hear it?
There was for like 2 seconds, but now you're good.
Okay. But yeah, sitting in that place of what could possibly come from it. And it really does free you from the emotion. You know, it's an awesome thing. So I love that you say that.
So the question I would ask to everyone, and write this down, is what are you unwilling to feel right now? Ask yourself that question. And once you identify the emotion you're unwilling to feel, and then set some intention to actually feel it, and what would it be like to go through that emotion? It's exactly what you said. It's freeing. It frees you. So ask yourself, what am I unwilling to feel? And what would it be like to actually feel that? And then because it's the whole saying, the only way out is through, right? The only way out of this is you have to go through that emotion.
I do love that. Yeah, one final, it's like, I think we live in a lot of fear. That, for example, I know when my dad passed away, there was so much fear up until that moment of what would happen. Oh my gosh, I'll be lost if a family member passes away. I'll never be able to survive. But when it actually happens, we're forced to live through that, right? And it's usually, as humans, we're very resilient. And so I love what you're talking about. Is the echo? I think, sorry guys, bear with us, technical difficulties. There's a little bit of an echo. Can they hear it, or just, I can hear it a little bit. It might, Doug, do you have AirPods maybe that would connect? Or will it not connect to your computer? It's okay if not.
Yeah, I mean, on my end, it's absolutely perfect.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little garbled. It says, no worries. Hey, I do want to hear, I want to dive into your story, because you've told me your story and I love it. I think it's great. And the 100-pound weight loss, like, do you have a before picture you could show us right now?
Let me see if I can pull it up I do have one on my Instagram. I just barely did let's see here. I can put it up to the screen. Where is it? posted not too long ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So can't seem to find it right now, but yeah, I lost in high school. I was a football player, and I played offensive line, and I weighed. Oh, here we go. Here it is. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's some before and
Oh,
afters.
yeah.
That was
Oh
me.
my God, so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was a football player in high school growing up, and so I wasn't like super fat, obese couch potato, but I was like a football player, so I was big, I could squat a lot, but I just was carrying a lot of unnecessary weight. And I was just on your Instagram live just barely before you jumped on here, and you mentioned that it's like one of those things where you try and diet so much, and then eventually you lose. Like eventually you give up because it's like you feel like you can't do it, right? And so I remember, yeah, I was that exact same thing happened to me, and it's like I'll never be this person. I'll never be skinny. I'm the fat kid, right? And it wasn't until I went back, like way back to my childhood, because I remember one time I think I was working with a therapist at the time, and she was like, when was the first time you believed you were the fat kid? And so I went back to this memory when I was literally in third grade, and I was bigger, and I was wearing this specific brand of basketball shorts, and on the front near the thigh, it says like what size they are, like a big letter. And I was wearing a size, I can't remember if it was a large or an extra large. But one day on the playground, there was a sixth grader who is 3 grades older than me. He was a very small, petite kid who was wearing a size medium.
Yeah.
And he noticed that I was 3 grades younger, but was wearing like an extra large, and he was a medium. And he pointed it out. And he's like, hey, you're 3 grades younger than me, and you got a bigger size, you fatty, or something like that. Just like teasing, you know? And that was the first time I became self-aware. Like, oh, is something wrong with my body?
Yeah. In third grade.
Yeah. And so I realized it was in that moment that I actually embraced and accepted the story that I was the fat kid. And then it was crazy after watching back all of these pivotal moments, all of these memories I have of like, I'm not good enough, right? All stem back to that story that I'm the fat kid. Because especially when it's a physical, and you know this, when it's a physical story, you say like something's wrong with my body, it makes it a little bit more difficult because it's like, oh, I know that something's wrong with my body, and you know it too because you can see me. Yeah. So now I have to find my validation and prove myself in other ways. Because the initial time I meet you, I'm playing from behind. I'm playing at a step lower and having to overcome this issue.
Yeah. Wow. It's a hard thing. It's crazy because obviously I have 4 kids. Yeah. And so you forget as an adult that kids are kind of going through their own, their own, what's the word? Evaluation of themselves right now. Mm-hmm. And like Cash, my 8-year-old is in third grade. He's my third. So I have 15, 13, and I forget that they're probably dealing with it too, but you were Cash's age. Yeah. And it's so crazy to think that Cash would ever be aware enough to create his identity at this age that would form who he is as an adult. And you know this, it's like once we create an identity about ourselves, or once we believe in an identity, whether true or false, positive or negative, the choices we make after that are all centered around that. And it's like, hey, exactly. I'm the fat kid. So every choice you made was around that. You know, every choice you made it thinking they're viewing me as this person, which in way, blessing and curse at the same time. I'm sure you developed a lot of traits and characteristics to compensate.
Right. So I have to prove, I need validation. So I have to figure out other ways and skill sets to get really good at, to get the validation I need. Right. But it was interesting when I was trying to lose weight before I was aware of this story, I would always fail because in the back of my mind, I knew I was the fat kid and I wasn't capable of doing this. So it didn't matter what diet or workout plan or exercise thing I did. When the underlying root of my story was I'm the fat kid. So of course I'm not gonna really lose the weight. I'm gonna try, but like of course I really won't. I'm the fat kid.
And so you were bound to fail from the beginning and in other situations too. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I can't run a marathon, I'm the fat kid, or I can't do this, so it probably stopped you from trying.
Yeah. So like I would have moments where I'd go and like, yeah, I'll get into running, and then that lasts like a week, you know, or you go on these really extreme diets because you're trying to like use mind over matter, right? But it wasn't until I went back and used the techniques of how to rewrite my story and change my story from I'm the fat kid to that I'm lovable and I'm worthy, right? Then after I really cemented that, that's a lot of work. I mean, it's not just one day you're like, oh, I love myself and you figure it out. No, it's a lot of journaling and exercises and a lot of very intentional work. But once I was able to get over that hump of like, oh, I am perfect just the way I am, then my food changed and my health habits changed. And then the weight, it was actually really, really easy to lose the weight. I didn't feel like I was trying. There was no resistance. It was because the core issue had changed and I was lovable. And so because I love myself, I want to take care of my body. So of course I'm going to eat healthier and move my body and take care of it. It's easy.
So in essence, what you're saying is you stopped focusing on the number and the physical side of it, and you started focusing on the internal parts that you couldn't see or feel or touch.
Yeah. And when I made that switch, whole life changed.
Really?
Yeah, everything changed. Not just physical, but mental, spiritual. I know my job changed, my view on the planet, my relationship with other people, I literally feel like I live on a different planet since I've done my internal work.
And how long has that been? So have you already lost 100 pounds and then you decided to start looking internally, or were you 100 pounds overweight and then you decided, would your transformation happen from a place of looking inside? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I was very up and down. So like I was really heavy and then I'm like, okay, I just feel gross. And so I got down to the most I ever weighed was like 308. And so after that I got down and then I kind of stayed around 250 for like a couple of years. It was still overweight. And then once I really made the transition of like, oh, I love myself, I went from 250 to 205 like that.
Just like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So for someone watching this right now, for everyone watching it, it's one I've heard it before too. People are like, oh yeah, blah, 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 love yourself. But like, how do you actually do it? So what's something somebody can do today that worked for you? Like what's a good first step?
Yeah. So I think it starts with if the goal is, okay, I want to lose weight, if that's the intention, you have to start with loving yourself. Like I said, so how do you love yourself? Is you gain a relationship with you. So I ask myself, what makes me feel alive, right? What do I love doing? What am I grateful for? And I started practicing mindfulness. So I would meditate, I would do breathing exercises, I do a gratitude journal. And when I focused on feeling really good, feeling happy, right? Feeling aligned and full of love, then the rest, whether it's job, career, health, finances, they just seem to fall into order because you're coming from a vibration of positivity and openness and love. And so the key to learn to love yourself is do things that make you feel alive. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? Right? And then go and do it. And
so cool.
I truly believe us as humans, we're here to connect with others and to create. Like we love connection. Hence we've got a room of 80 people here and we feel this deep sense of connection. And we love creation. We love building things, whether it's music, art, or dance. And if we can tap into those natural talents that we have, you're naturally going to learn to love being you. And when you love being you, you're going to treat your body better.
Yeah, I don't know if I was telling you about that book that I was reading. I think we might have talked about it. I'm not sure. Maybe we did. But one of the things that they were saying it was talking about the cultures that live the longest have a handful of things in common. And this was a culture that had the most 100 plus.
Is this the blue zones?
No, this is called the positive shift.
Okay.
It's taking time to read it. But what they did say is every culture that had the longest, happiest lifespan, there were a few things in common. One was they took time out every day at like 5 p.m. to have a sort of happy hour. The second thing, and most important, is that there was such a strong sense of community. Isolation wasn't like a thing in there. Like for them to get together, they had, the moms cooking the food and the dads doing this, the grandma's here, and even living together in tight quarters. But just a strong sense of bonding, like you're saying, connection with other people brings so much joy, even if we've resisted it.
Yeah. And I'm a big believer, like, it sounds kind of weird, but if you're looking to shift your life into another, go sign up for a group fitness class or an art class or a music class, or take go be with other humans who are trying to accomplish the same thing. And that piece of community is so important. You have to have tribe. And like, honestly, if you're trying to lose weight, like, I think going to take an art class with other people is going to help, because it's going to heighten your self-love.
Yes, it's so true. You talked to me about these, the 3 M's. Can you tell them about that? Because I feel like that's a fun thing that they could start practicing today.
Yeah. So one thing that everyone can start practicing today is, I don't know if anyone knows, but I built an app called The Daily Shifts is my app. And I realized I was doing this soul checklist for the soul. And I was like, oh my gosh, how can I share this with the world? So I have an app in the Apple App Store, not on Android yet, but we're getting there. And it's your daily reminders to stay in line internally, so you can learn to love yourself and express yourself fully. So the app is the first step I would recommend, especially when everyone's in quarantine, right?
You just go to the App Store and look up The Daily Shift. The
Daily Shifts. You can find it on my website too, thedailyshifts.com.
Okay.
And so this app is it's literally a checklist for your soul. It has your gratitude practice, it has breathing exercises, it has meditations. We're going to track your sleep, we're going to track your food. There's a part, my favorite part, called recess.
Ooh, every kid loves recess. It's
cool. So my question to you is, your recess, what are you going to do that's just for fun today?
What am I going to do that's just for fun today? Oh boy. Derek's eyes popped up. Gosh, no, I will tell you, and I don't do this very often. I am actually going to my brothers and their wives' house tonight. Well, quarantine. We've been around each other, so we've been exposed already, right? But they live just down the road, so I'm going to go to their house and relax a little bit and spend time laughing with them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so important that everyone, even us as adults, that we have recess.
Yeah.
Like, it's learning to love yourself.
Yeah.
And literally, like, at night, there's a recap on the daily shifts where we're going to recap your day with, what were 3 happy moments today? Did you eat healthy? Did you move your body? What do you love about yourself today? And then transitioning into the 3 M's, there's a manifestation part in the end of the app that's like, okay, let's talk about your goals. So I love goal setting, and I'm very into goal setting. So I've got another thing kind of going on right now that I've realized in quarantine that I've done every single day. And I think the reason I love quarantine so much is because I've done these 3 things every single day. And the first one is 3 M's. First one is I move. Right when I wake up, move my body.
So is that your exercise in first thing every day?
First thing every day. Because what's happening on a scientific level is there's so much cortisol in our bodies right now. And cortisol is our fear chemical, makes us feel anxious, and especially with the news and the uncertainty, our cortisol levels are even higher. Cortisol even makes us gain weight. It holds weight in our body because it's our survival instinct. Like, we don't know when we're going to eat again. We need to be in survival mode, so we're going to store our fat, right? So it's been proven to lower your cortisol levels is to move your body. So what's a really exciting time right now is everyone is offering free workout classes online.
Yes, they are, including us. Yeah.
It's so exciting. So it's like, it's never been easier to work out from home ever.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think I was telling you, I got so lucky, like grace from the universe. I've been a big Peloton fan for a long time, but never bought one. And just intuitively, my intuition was like, hey, it's time to buy a Peloton. I got my Peloton delivered like 5 days before everything went crazy.
You are so lucky. Now, I do want to just open everybody watching this right now. if you are doing, or Doug, if you know of any free things, online things that are giving free workout, let us know. And then, hey guys, if you're watching and you want to comment what you're doing, I think everybody reading this on here could use some ideas on great places that they could go to get free workouts. I know our Transform app Facebook page, we do a free one every single day because people need it. They need something they can do at home.
Yeah. And so it's so easy to work out at home. So my intention with why am I working out first thing in the morning is A, lower my cortisol levels, and B, because there is uncertainty, I want to be able to mitigate the most amount of risk on my emotional health.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways I can do that is take care of my physical body.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So I'm going to stay super hydrated. I'm going to eat super clean as you drink your water. I'm going to move my body.
Impeccable.
Because that will help mitigate the risk of me having an anxiety attack or a panic attack because I'm feeling my best.
Yes. Yes.
So like non-negotiable right now is super difficult workout in the morning.
Good for you. I actually think I could change that. It's funny because I'm the fitness queen.
Yeah.
And since quarantine, that's the one thing that suffered a little bit. Not my fitness, but the time of day, I've kind of let it go with the routine of life, kind of going up and go. So I actually, what I do is I purposely I have my workout clothes on right now because I feel like I'm more likely to get the workout in if I have the clothes on. So I'm now becoming one of those women that wears clothes and counts it as a workout.
Yeah.
I am going to move after this. You inspired me. I'm going to get my workout in the garage.
Yeah, and so, I mean, whenever you work out is fine. The reason I'm doing it in the morning is just to mitigate my risk of the cortisol levels, right? Because I know scientifically my brain's holding chemicals that are going to make me feel anxious and depressed.
Yes.
But yeah, moving every day, vital. Next thing.
First M is movement. What's the second M?
Motivate.
Motivate.
And so something I've been doing, and I'll show you here, is I've been writing my goals down every morning. So this journal, completely full. This is the last 25 days.
What are you going to do after? Because we were talking about how Amazon is super delayed. So where are people going to get their journals? What are you going to do, Doug? You got to order it now.
Use it on your phone. We've got resources. You've got notes on your computer.
True.
There's resources. And so when I journal, I do something really, really cool. And I want to share this with everyone because when I first kind of pieced this together, I felt like it was like my eureka moment. Like, oh my gosh, I've discovered a really cool tool that I can share with the world.
Okay.
So first thing I do when I pull out my journal is I'm going to write a minimum of 1 paragraph on an internal checklist. Like, today I am feeling blank because blank.
Oh, I love it.
So today I'm feeling anxious because I've got uncertainty with my business, or today I'm feeling lonely because I literally haven't touched another human in 8 days. But and why?
Because you're a citizen. That's why.
Yeah. So, but like on the journal, it's like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel lonely? And I'm a good citizen. Both of those.
Why have you met humanity?
Yeah, both of those things. So I'm going to do a half-page check-in just to like get clear on where I'm at. And then I do my goal setting technique. And so my goal setting technique is a 4-step process. And we talked a little about this on the phone yesterday. So if you think about any goal you have, I want to make more money, I want a red convertible, I want to lose 10 pounds. You don't really want those things. You want the feeling you think those things will bring.
Yes.
You want more money so you feel more secure. You want the red convertible.
Yes.
Yes. You want the red convertible because you want to drive down the Pacific Coast Highway with the love of your life. You want
to look good in a bikini body on the beach so you feel like you're actually enough compared to everybody else. Like there's a reason.
Yeah, you don't want to lose 10 pounds. You want to feel sexy and confident in your body. Right? Yeah. So I then take 10 areas of my life. So spiritual, financial, my role as an entrepreneur, a family member, a friend, as a healthy person, as a human, right? And then once I define what my roles are, I attach the emotion I want to feel with it.
Okay.
Right? So for example, I'll do one with you guys, and this will be a health one since we're health and fitness here. So The emotion I want with my body is I want to feel strong and confident in my body.
Okay.
First, define the emotion. Define the emotion. I want to feel strong and confident in my body. Second step is what identity, what type of person feels strong and confident in their body? So I'll ask you, what type of person feels strong and confident in their body?
What type of a person? Well, it depends on what, to me, then would you kind of tie it with a passion? Because for me, if I wanted to feel strong and confident, I know I love competing in bodybuilding. So I would tie it to a competitive bodybuilder or like,
Cool. An athlete.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what mine is, athlete. So the second thing is you identify the identity of the person, which would be I am an athlete in this situation. Then the third piece is the actual goal you started with. So it could be to perform in a bodybuilding competition.
Yep. Or to run a half marathon.
Or run a half marathon, right? Yeah. And then the fourth piece is the how.
Okay.
What are you going to do to prepare for your half marathon?
You would then create a plan or get a plan and follow it, because that's what an athlete would do.
Right. So when I write the goal, I start with the identity. I am an athlete, and my goal is to burn 600 calories every morning. Who burns 600 calories every morning. I do the Peloton every morning to stay fit and active. My body feels strong, and I feel confident in my body.
I love it.
I do that for every aspect of my life, and I physically write them down every day.
Okay.
So the first time you do this, it's really hard. It takes like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But the second time you do it, it takes 7 minutes because you're just copying from the day before.
So awesome. So cool.
And then when I'm done.
Okay.
And then when I'm done with that, I read them out loud.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because words, it's almost like Chris and I always say, a silent commitment isn't nearly as powerful as a commitment spoken out loud.
A verbal commitment, correct.
To somebody else or to yourself, when you actually say it, you're much more likely to do it.
Yeah. So that's the second M.
Okay.
So move, motivate. Third M is meditate.
Okay.
And so meditation practices can look different for everyone. The key here is you want 20 minutes of silence. No technology, no distractions, and really just breathe in the moment. And you can use affirmations of I am lovable, I am worthy, right? But what I do is I actually visualize my goals.
Okay.
So literally what I just wrote down and felt, I then visualize them. And for 20 minutes, I usually just sit out here on my patio overlooking Austin, and I just breathe and meditate, close my eyes sometimes and kind of just feel it out. And then after 20 minutes, I can go inside and I can take on the world. I can take on the crazy stuff going on at work and with family and just all the craziness. I can handle it, right? Because I'm so aligned. So the thing that's this 3M movement makes you bulletproof.
Okay.
Because yeah.
I was going to say we have move, motivate, meditate.
Meditate. Yeah.
And like what I want to ask about meditate, because meditating is something I don't do enough of. And I think a lot of people here might be in the same thing. And one of the reasons I don't do enough of it is I never know if I'm doing it right. Like when they say meditate, I automatically envision that I need to be like in this Zen state. And if I don't feel complete or peace, I'm doing it wrong. It's almost like religious prayer, right? Like a lot of people don't pray because they don't feel like they're doing it right. And like when you meditate or when I am meditating, should I be going somewhere? What do I do with all the freaking voices in my head that are talking? Like I'm sitting there meditating thinking this is not meditation. Everyone else is doing it right except for me. What do I do?
This is the response I get the most.
And is
it? Oh yeah. Everyone says the exact same thing to me. Every single person. The best advice I can give to anyone looking to build a meditation practice is before we go into the logistics of how to sit, what to listen to, what to do, the best advice is don't judge your meditation practice.
Okay. They say that in yoga too. They say don't judge your yoga practice.
Yeah. all meditation is you sit up. For me, I sit up with a straight spine and I close my eyes and I just allow whatever thoughts to come in. You can't silence your mind. Don't think of a red elephant.
I see a red elephant. Damn it.
Yeah. You can't quiet your mind. You can't silence it. And the purpose of meditation is allowance.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I sit down, like you can kind of see like my meditation cushion right behind me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I sit down there for an hour and it feels like 20 minutes.
Really?
And then sometimes I sit down there for 12 minutes and it feels like an hour.
Okay.
But both are perfect. Both are okay.
So what if I want to, so could I technically meditate in bed and just lay down and close my eyes?
That would be sleeping. That's not meditation, that's sleeping. It's a different practice we have.
Okay, because sometimes I just lay in bed and all I think they're just random thoughts. Like that.
So meditation is sitting up straight, because I think you need to be aligned.
Okay.
And intentionally surrendering.
Okay.
And sit really comfortable, because if you're sitting, like, you don't have to sit cross-legged and do the Om thing, because if you're uncomfortable, the whole time you're going to think about it in your meditation practice is how you're uncomfortable. So just sit, you can just lean up against the wall too. And for 20 minutes, it's just 20 minutes of silence and surrender.
Okay.
That's all it is. And if you do that, you're meditating.
Silence and surrender. I love that, because the top question right now, people asking, what meditation techniques do you find most effective? I love the simplicity of what you just said. 20 minutes of silence and surrender, and non-judgment of yourself and your practice.
Don't judge your practice. Yeah. And I highly recommend actually people who, and I have this in my app, the Daily Shifts app, I have guided meditations. If you're wanting to get into meditation, I highly suggest start with guided meditations. Okay.
So is your app free or no?
Yeah. So I'm doing a week free for everyone. You can try it out for free for a week.
Okay. I say everybody needs to go try that. Do your guided meditations, see how that works. And then any other meditation techniques you can recommend or tell them about right now.
Yeah. And it's this too. This is the advice I have. Create a physical space in your house where you go meditate. Because if you have a physical space set up, you're going to see it and like, oh, that's my reminder. I need to go do my meditation. And it doesn't have to be like, there doesn't have to be a Buddha in a meditation chair. It can just be like your kind of your quiet space. Like it's your safe space to just go get silent and surrender and breathe. And like I said, and I'm sure you get this in fitness too, is we overcomplicate it. Yeah. It's like, oh, I need to go, before I can lose weight, I have to go sign up for the gym membership and buy the new shoes and get the new Lululemon and buy the yoga mat and, and get the new, what's the best water bottle? And you're like, no. No,
you just need your body. That's all that you need.
That's it. Yeah. Right? And so what meditation is for the mind is what fitness is for the body.
Okay. I love that. It's funny. Someone actually commented in here and said, I'm the same with fitness. I feel like I don't do it enough because I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I give up because I think, well, I'm doing it right. I think, well, I'm doing it right. So I'm not doing it right. So it's a waste of time. And then I stop. Yeah. And I actually feel that way about meditation. And it's funny because even when you started saying, I am like your example of everything, right? Like you said, create a space. Well, what happened is in my mind, I started thinking about what I saw in this home magazine. It was like this like waterfall and this garden and like this chair. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, my next house, I'm gonna have to create a space like that. And then I'll meditate. Right? Then you really read my mind and said, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Overcomplicate it.
Where you're sitting right now could be your meditation space.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, I mean, I don't know. In the background. I mean, he's calming for me.
When I'm on the road traveling, I meditate in a chair just at the desk in the room.
Okay.
Like you don't have to be all yogied out. No.
But I do love the idea of investing. Not that you need to invest money-wise, but somehow investing in creating a space for that as a symbol of intention, right? So even if I were to find one thing, and maybe it's a rock that like is a peaceful rock that Ruby painted, my daughter painted, that like brings me calmness, and I put it in a location in the house, and that becomes it. That And every time I see it, it's going to be a signal to my mind that that's my safe space. That's my calm space where I say fitness. Yeah, with fitness, it's like, yeah, you don't technically need to be wearing specific clothes to work out. But I am a believer that when you invest something into your day, into your workout, you're going to get more out. So I put the clothes on. Why? Because I'm more likely to invest the time to do it. I buy the booty band. Why? Because I think I'm going to get out there and I'm going to use it if I invest something into it. Without
it's all you're doing is you're removing resistance.
Yes. Yep.
Right. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
And so when you have a physical meditation space, when I need to go meditate, I just go sit down. Okay. I don't have to like pull out the cushion and pull out the things, whatever. It's like it's already waiting for me there. So
yeah, I love that. I love that. Someone even just said, or a smell. Mm-hmm. I love lavender. Always associated with calm time. And,
yeah. Do you burn Palo Santo?
Is that Nag Champa?
No, it's Palo Santo.
I don't know the difference. Burning something, burning, it's all the same. Chris does. So Chris burns, he doesn't burn that. He burns that stuff I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And it smells like sometimes I walk into the room that he burns it in. I'm like, oh, it's like, it's a hippie smell and I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. Alexis just said, pets make it difficult to meditate.
So do kids. Pets and kids.
Is embrace it. Embrace your pet. If your pet wants to come cuddle on you, like let it come cuddle on you. The whole purpose of the meditation is surrender.
So we had, Simply Sadie Jane.
Oh yeah.
She was on the last episode and I love what she had said. She was talking about her own practice and she said her kid will come in and like start picking her nose and she just lets him do it.
Yeah.
In the middle of meditation.
And if you can surrender to your meditation practice, you're more likely to surrender to the craziness of life.
Amen. Amen. I love that. So there's another question that's getting a lot of votes. How do you let go of the past people and make new healthy connections and trust people again?
So
I want the question right now. Answer this. Help me.
Yeah. So to me, I don't know this person's situation, but it sounds like they're telling themselves a story. Okay. That I can't trust people. People aren't trustworthy. I'm not safe, right? There's some story. And so it's all around trust. And it sounds like this person's thinking of a specific person that they haven't let go of. Seems like a very unique situation. But to me, this goes back to that this person is telling themselves some sort of story and they're not letting go of something. Right. And so it reminds me of my favorite quote that I want to make sure I word it right. Attachment or suffering is when we're attached to a specific result.
Oh, yes, I can feel that like in my gut. Yeah.
So something happened. It didn't go the way we wanted it to. We're attached to that idea, right? And so we cling on to it and we hold on. And so it continues to create suffering.
Yeah.
And so then we're going to tell ourselves a story that people are bad. I can't trust anyone. There's no space. But really there's an idea that you're probably holding on to that you haven't let go of. And if you can let go of that idea, right, it'll automatically create space for new to come in.
You literally, so I didn't write this question. And I didn't even vote. I wasn't one of the votes, but I like that's something that I think, and maybe everybody does. I don't know that I've always dealt with that in my life, but it is something in my life right now I am dealing with my own way situation. And I think I kind of right before this call, I was talking to a friend and kind of walking myself through the situation. And I think for me, is as much as that past person that someone's saying might not even be a good person for you in your life. Like if you were actually to weigh it out to, I think it was Robin that asked the question. There's a very good possibility that if you were to weigh out the pros and cons of having this past person in your life, the cons probably far outweigh the pros. They really do. But it's this idea for me that I wasn't able to control the outcome of how it was. It was like almost like And that's what's really hard for me. You know, like I wasn't able to be the one to say, hey, you're not good for me. It's the control issue. It's like we struggle. It's that outcome you're talking about. The outcome that I envisioned in my head is not the reality. And me as a people pleaser and Robin here the same way. It's like, but wait, like, don't they know that I'm a good person? Don't they know? And my inability to control it is causing me to have a really hard time letting go of a situation that is better than the past. And it's taking up so much of my energy and my time right now. But I know better. I know, you know, the past is where it belongs. And until we clear that space, we're really not free to create the future that we deserve.
And on that, I think it's too that we need to grieve fully. And I think a lot of times we are not grieving fully. And I think this ties into Katie's question too. She says, I feel my biggest barrier when trying to meditate is my mental thoughts, trying to quiet them to meditate, and bad memories from the past, like sudden passing of my dad. What advice do you have? And I get you there. My dad died in 2011, and I suppressed his death for 7 years.
Wow.
And I didn't want to deal with it, and I pushed it away. And then in 2017, I finally dealt with it. And I fully grieved his death, and I felt all the emotions. And same advice to both people here is there's an emotion that you have to fully grieve. Like grieving is a part of the human experience. And we have to let these emotions, this is the same story we've been saying the whole time, but we have to let these emotions go through us, right? The longer you resist fear and grief and sadness, it's not going to go anywhere. It's stuck, and it's going to cause it, it's going to spin out, it's going to show up in our life, and we have to fully embrace. And so my advice to Katie would be to don't be afraid of those feelings. And it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to feel confused and pissed off. And once you fully allow that to move through you, then you can get out. Just like we already said, the only way out is through.
Oh, I love that. I mean, such great advice. Yeah. Sometimes we are programmed to push pride just as a sign of strength. When really suppressing it is more than anything, you know? And I love what Janine just mentioned. Sometimes you have to hurt your heart to heal your soul. Mm-hmm. And it's true. I love that. Let's get another question, and then it looks. I can't believe how fast this time is passing.
Where are we? Whoa.
I mean, this is a really good question. There's so many great questions. Someone says, during your process of letting go of your past, did you lose people and friends? Because that's a scary thing.
Yeah, that was a fear that I had, right? And that I was going to lose, because I mean, I went through a major transition. I left the religion I grew up in. I left the job that I had my whole identity wrapped around. And I even, at one point, I was dating this girl who I was so confident was going to be my wife. And she broke up with me. And I was going through all three of those things at the same time. And there was this fear of like, and so what I'm trying to get at too is there's this quote by Anthony Mello who says, "We are not scared of the unknown. We are scared of losing the known." Ooh. And so when you feel like you're scared to lose friends, you're scared of losing these old parts of you. And that's what really holds us back is like, oh my gosh, I have these parts of me that I love and I don't want to lose them. So I'm going to stay small. Yeah. Right. And so, yeah, I think I went through that too, but it goes back to just surrendering and trust. And I knew intuitively that there was this new calling for me. And what ended up happening was as I stepped into this newer, fuller version of myself that was exploring new talents and new ideas and new social networks and different people, the people that needed to stay in my life have. And my relationships with them are deeper and more fulfilling.
Wow.
And so as long as I promise, as long as you honor yourself and honor the truest version of yourself, the universe will take care of you and will provide stronger relationships of the past and newer, fulfilling ones too.
Such a powerful answer. Because it is, you're right. It's not the unknown. It's fear of losing the known. And again, whether the known is a good or a bad thing, it's hard to rock the foundation that you perceive as, best. That's current foundation, really. I love that. Thank you so much, Doug.
That's how many feel.
Yeah, Derek's reading the comments, and he's saying that's how a lot of people are feeling. So
yeah, and that's that's exactly what's going on with coronavirus right now, right? We had these lives that we've lived of engagement and connection and communication and certainty in our jobs, really, and now all that's up in the air. And the reason everyone's panicking is like, oh my gosh, have we lost what we've known? Have we lost that? And that's why people are scared.
Amen.
Right? I truly believe once all of this dies down, our lives will be enhanced.
Yeah.
It'll be more beautiful and a lot will come out of this, but we don't see that piece yet. And so it's scary.
I agree with you. And I believe that right now everyone's freaking out, right? But I think we have a tendency to freak out no matter where we're at in life, and a tendency to want what it is that we don't have. I think in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, we're all going to say, gosh, remember that time when we actually got to slow down, when we were afforded the ability, we were forced to slow down, and the world was peaceful for a while, and the earth could breathe. And I mean, never again, never in human history. Yeah, has this ever happened before? And so, to embrace, I love seeing you embrace this so much and seeing examples of that, because there's so much good to come out of it.
Yeah. And I think too, that was really calming for me too, was there's 7 billion people on the planet. Not one person has the answer to this current situation. No one knows when this is going to end. No one knows how difficult it's going to be. No one knows what the aftermath is going to be. No one knows. And because no one knows, it almost takes the pressure off my shoulders of trying to go and figure it out, because there's no answer to figure out.
Yeah. You can't figure it out.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm actually going to do this last question just so we get to everyone's questions. So someone says, I want to know if I should stick. This is a really good question. I want to know if I should stick up for myself when I'm in the public and I have had people make fun of me. It's a very good question. Especially you coming from, the past that you had. The second part of the question is, or am I supposed to just stay on my own journey and let the negative go? What do you have to say to that? As somebody that's come from been bullied in a way.
Yeah. To me, the first thing that comes up is you have to remember that if you are teased or made fun of in public, that actually has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with that person and their insecurities, and all people do is project onto each other. And so if someone were to attack you, it's coming from a place of insecurity from that person that's trying to gain control. So if that were to happen to me, I would actually send them some love, oh, this person must be hurting right now for them to act out that way. And I'm going to send them some love, and I would just say, hey, seems like you're hurting, and I love you.
Oh,
I
love that.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen to that. Guys, I hope you all got your questions answered. Doug, you are incredible. Can you tell us a little bit? So obviously we know about the app. Yep. Is there anything else, any other tools that you have for these people right now that they can kind of grasp on?
This is going to sound crazy.
Okay.
But my online course called Shift My Life is 10 videos and a 75-page workbook. I've spent my entire life working on this.
Wow.
It's $1,000, and I'm doing it for $99 because of coronavirus. And I'm also giving away a free 30-minute call.
Oh, to everybody that signs up, you're giving
everyone who signs up.
I'm signing up.
Yeah.
I just need you to remind me to be zen.
Yeah. Well, it's just I'm okay. I'm how can I embrace this? I'm gonna be stuck in my apartment. I'm how can I help the most amount of people? As I need to start getting onto the phone with people who need help. Yeah, and so I discounted my course. Just thedailyshifts.com.
Okay.
And I also have a free ebook too on happiness hacks that you can download for free.
Very cool.
I have the app in the App Store, and I literally knocked $900 off my course, and I'm doing free calls because I'm stuck in my apartment and I would rather be talking to you guys helping you. So
that's what the world needs right now. More you that are willing to discount give. Thank you so much, Doug. Thank you. And then just a reminder to everyone watching, we are going to send out an email. Derek reminded me, giving you all of this information so you can find Doug's tools, his app. I think you should go download it now. And I'm going to. I'm going to do the 7 free. Thank you. Thank you for everything, Doug. I appreciate it. And guys, everybody everybody stayed the whole time. This is so awesome. That you were so captivating, Doug. They didn't go anywhere. So thank you for being here today. I think episode 3 was freaking amazing. I feel like every episode, it's like the best in its own way. So thank you guys. And we'll be back. So this is, what's today? Sunday?
Yes.
Sunday. We'll be back Wednesday with another one with a guest we'll let you know about down the road. Doug, I love you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having
me. I'm signing up for your course.
Fun. Hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.